Hey guys, welcome back. I guess it's not really the channel now; it's like the garage we're on. So we're night one on the big project. It's not going so great because we're having water supply issues. You know, when we were setting this whole thing up, of course we gave the faucets a little test, but we got going tonight. You know, like 20 or 30 minutes in, the water pressure just, and the flow just like fell off a cliff. So the machines are just like constantly being starved out. And, well, we're not letting them get starved out, but we're having to stop intermittently. But what we're doing is a workaround tonight. Well, the plumbers and the facility engineers address this issue first thing in the morning for hopefully the remainder of the project, get that corrected. We're using our auxiliary machine, our backup machine, like a water supply trailer. So we're out filling this thing up in another area and just running back and forth and bumping the little 50-gallon tanks, the buffer tanks, with a little more to keep them going. It's painful. That's what you got to do. So anyways, we're going to go in here and have a look at what the boys are doing. I'll give you a little overview of the entire place. But yeah, this place is absolutely huge. It's 1/5 of a mile long, and it's 400 feet wide. And that's per level. So there's 4 of those. And each one of these 1,050 feet long, 400 foot wide levels, we're doing in 5 days. So, but we're only working it 4 days a week. So we'll get 4/5 of the way through the first level, Monday through Thursday. Then we'll come back the following Monday, finish up the last section on this level, and then continue on in that same methodology, taking on 4 nights a week, but each level takes 5 nights to complete. So that's the skinny. I'm gonna go walk over here to our work area for tonight, the area that we're working on, and give you a little overview, show you what we're doing. Thank you. See you soon. Yeah. It's absolutely huge. Let's go see. Enough water. Never enough. Fucking torture. You guys are banging it out. You guys are pretty good time. Yeah. Yeah. Andrew. brothers. Andrew and Kyle.
Alright, what's up? Let's talk about what you guys were just looking at there. And that was with the truck and the trailer right behind it, the big truck. Okay, so the big truck, like I say, we use to support the small vacuum trailers that can go in the garage. But, you know, they can only hold like 500 gallons. So, you know, each night we're picking up between 12 and 1,500 gallons. No, maybe even, probably closer to 1,600 and 1,700 gallons. I'd say about that. I'd say 2 trailer loads per night each. That's 4. Each time we empty one of those trailers off, we're taking off about 450 gallons. So maybe 400 gallons, maybe 1,600, which is about all the truck can hold before it goes overweight. Because National Truck Center sets these vacuum trucks up. They're like single axles. We have a 2,500 gallon tank. If I filled this thing all the way up, it would go overweight by like 5,000 or 6,000 pounds. It'd be illegal. So we just don't fill it all the way up. And you know, you can't really pick and choose when you're buying vacuum trucks. You get what you get to work with. But okay, so when you guys saw the vacuum truck parked in front of the trailer just now, what we were doing was emptying that trailer out. And what you saw there was that big gray hose coming off of the side of the truck, and then another small yellow hose going to the back of the trailer. Now that big gray hose, you don't normally have to do that, but this is like a little trick I employ so that, like, for example, if I can't be here one night because I got to work in the morning or something like that, and I don't have any guys on site who are qualified to operate a CDL truck, that's a way for them to use the vacuum truck without actually even getting in the cab or turning on the PTO and activating the air pump that the truck powers. They're using the engine on the trailer to pull air out of the tank on the big truck. And so the doors can be locked, the truck's not on, the engine's not running, it's just parked there with the emergency brake on and the wheels chocked. They don't even have to get inside of it, yet they can still use that truck to empty out their trailer by creating negative air pressure in the big truck, in the big truck's tank, by using the engine and the vacuum blower on the trailer. So that's what that gray hose off the side of the truck that was going to the front of the trailer, that's what that thing was doing. It was basically bypassing the big air vane pump on the truck and not using it. I do that for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is, you know, if we don't have anybody here who can operate the big truck safely and legally, they're not trained or qualified. And the other reason is, in case the air pump on the vacuum truck breaks, they can still use the truck for its main purpose by just using another power source to negatively charge the vacuum tank on the truck. And that's something I did a while back. And, you know, is it better to be lucky or clever? So I got to thinking about this about 6 months or a year ago. I'm like, well, what if the air pump on the truck breaks? It's got 3 or 4 years on it now, and I haven't really put any energy into learning how to do the vanes on the air pump when they, these little fiberglass plates wear out and eventually they got to be replaced. They wear down, you got to stick new ones in there. We'll go over that later. They're actually not hard to do. The cover on the air pump's got to come off, but basically, a while back we had the little PTO, not the PTO, we had the linkage between the truck's engine and the drive shaft on the air pump. But there's a little rubber coupling that stripped out a while back. They're cheap. They're meant to do that. It's like an engineered weak point. They're easy to replace. So that if something shocks the pump it keeps it from turning, like it gets jammed up or something like that, and the engine is so powerful on this truck, it would just break the air pump. So they put in basically a couple of rubber gears, like a rubber female gear, and it's got a rubber male gear with like male teeth on it, and it goes in, and when it's like vulcanized rubber. It's not nearly as hard as steel, and it'll strip out as a protective measure that they put on. You can put on these things. But I think it got cold or frozen one night, or it just was old and worn. The rubber protection sleeve broke, and I'll show you guys what that thing is some other time. But that thing broke, and I had to take a couple of days to get a new one. The truck was down, so I'm like, well, how can we use this truck if the air pump's inoperable? So I was just looking at it, and I'm like, why don't I just put a T in on the intake and just put a cam lock fitting so we could just basically jump it the same way we jump the trailers. And that's what that was. And you heard the engine on the trailer. Wah! That's what was happening right there. So what we do is we just basically pop. There's a little hose that there's a big fat 3-inch hose that goes from the blower's filter right before the engine, and it hooks up to the vacuum tank on the trailer. We just disconnect that off the trailer and essentially plug that into the vacuum tank on the truck. So instead of the engines on the trailer, that blower hooking up to the small vacuum tank, we just hook it up to the big one on the truck by means of this 3-inch T with a cam lock fitting that I installed on the truck. And so it has got two purposes. It allows operators who are not qualified to operate the truck to use the truck without turning it on or using it. And then also it's like sort of like a backup in case the air pump on the big truck breaks down for whatever reason. That's what that's for. That's what you're looking at. So, like I said, there's not a playbook for this. We're just kind of inventing the process as we go along. So, cleaning garages, there's a lot of little things you can do. Like I said in my very first video, there's a lot of little things you can do for not a lot of money to drastically up your operational IQ and keep your projects on track, make your customers happy, and ultimately make money and survive and pay your employees and be profitable. All right, let's see. I think that'll probably do it for this first night